I better hurry, the sun is setting. So I only have one take to do this. Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about what kind of seeds I sowed for the fall and winter season. I got some started right here already, and I even transplanted some in my GreenStalk. So I'm really excited to share with you guys about this. A lot of these varieties I haven't grown before because I don't have a lot of sun downstairs. So I'm really taking full advantage of, even though I'm growing in containers up on the rooftop, but hey, at least there is sun. So a little bit is better than none. Let me just show you guys some of the things I have sowed in here. I'll just start with these ones here. This, I got the purple cabbage, the one that looks like a cone shape. I'm so excited about that one. So let's see how it goes because I am limited in, container size here. So I got the purple and the green variety. This is like a German heirloom. I also got those giant cabbages. Yeah. This one here is this one right here, and this is the purple cabbage Cabbages. It's right over here, and oh, right here, the Filterkraut. So I got this one right over here. So you can see that they are ready to be transplanted. I gotta get the larger containers ready for these. I won't be able to grow that many, maybe just 2 to 3 of these, so like one of each here, and then a few of them I'm going to put it downstairs just to see what happens. And this one here, I fell in love with ever since I saw this unique shape. It just reminds me of, I know it looks kind of like a vase, right? But it also reminds me of like a unicorn, the horn of a unicorn. I mean, especially this purple one. And then cabbage. This is a giant cabbage. I'm super excited about them. These are cool weather crops for us in Southern California. But for those of you who live in like even zone 9, it's gonna grow amazing for you, especially in zone 9 where you can still grow it outside. But it's cold enough to really concentrate the sugars. It's gonna be sweeter, even better tasting for you guys. And I'm gonna be growing a lot of beets and radishes this year, especially beets. I always enjoy beets. I like them in any kind of ways, from ferments to roasting them, pickling, in soups, even blending a puree, kind of like with beets and yogurt. And this one is so deep red. I really love how deep this pigment is. The best part about root crops, and especially the beets, is that it just gets sweeter this time of the year. Also, it doesn't require a whole lot of space. I can grow beets successfully downstairs on the patio with part shade and part sun. It does take a whole lot longer, like 2 times or even 2.5 times longer than you would if you were planting it in a full sun space. So that's why I dragged the GreenStalk planter up here, and I am being mindful of the weight, guys. So I took the leaf version, which is the more shallow container rather than the original, which is deeper. Allows you to grow more varieties in there with things with more deeper tap roots, but this one with radishes and beets will be enough, and I only kept it at 3 tiers, so it's not that tall. But still, I was able to put 1 to 3 of these per pocket, and there's 6 pockets per tier. I put like 35 plants in there because there's the other 2. I wanted the sweet alyssum in there. So we'll see how they do being in like, you know, a pocket with 3 of them. Because if you do it in the ground or in large containers, like growing them in bunches of 3 with radish and beets is no problem. I've never done it in the GreenStalk, so we'll see how that goes. But I love beets, and there's this other beets called Chioccia. I hope I got that right. It's an Italian heirloom. Beautiful swirlies, so let's see how they do in the GreenStalk as well. Another one in the GreenStalk is this Chinese red meat. Actually, in Chinese it has a more beautiful name. It's called Beauty Heart Radish. But somehow the translation, or I mean, the name is called Chinese red meat. But it looks like a watermelon, right? I'm really excited about this. I also got this in the GreenStalk. Another one that I sowed in a different tray, I haven't transplanted, is these winter sun ones, because golden yellow beets are really sweet. they're just so delicious, especially when you like roast them caramelized, or even beet juice is so delicious. So I love my beets and the radishes. Radishes, a lot of the smaller ones grow so fast. They're ready to pick even in just like a month if you have them in full sun. From seed to harvest is like 4 to 5 weeks. So quick turnaround. The one that I showed you earlier is going to take a little longer because they can grow up to even, I think, like 2 inches in diameter. So like when you slice it down halfway, the largest it can get is up to 2 inches. I still experimented through doing 1 to 3 per pocket in the GreenStalk, so we'll see how it goes. Another one I'm really excited about, I love peas and sugar snaps. I look forward to that when it comes to growing in the cooler season. And this one is the Mammoth melting sugar, so Mammoth, giant variety. I'm excited to see how this would go. And the arc trellis right here, it'll have more sun, it'll be the cooler weather up here. The only thing that might, the drawback of growing up here is the container. So I am only putting these in like a 6-inch deep, like skinny little planters that you would put on like as like a window planter or something. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I can just plant more of them, and constantly fertilize. I try to do 1 to 2 times fertilizing up here because I'm really trying to pump up certain plants here, especially the loofah right now. It's in the wrong season, right? But because I started this over like in the middle of summer, there's some summer crops that are still barely trying to catch up right now. So I'll do my best and see how it goes. That's why I'm really ramping up with the fertilizing. And of course, I always look forward to coriander, cilantro, and this is a slow bolt variety. Yeah, I also love coriander seeds. You can use the seeds as a spice. The best time to pick these actually to me is when they're bolting and have a little bit of flowers, because the flowers has a lot more like a stronger floral scent to me, and I love adding that to my carrot juice. I love that a lot. I even do like an herbal sweet tea with it, which is carrots, coriander flowers, and sugar cane. So I really love those combinations. I look forward to having more cilantro again in my life. Sugar snap. I believe this is a normal one, but I really enjoy these sweet vegetables. This one I might just grow downstairs. This is a beautiful pink dandelion. I love dandelion. I love adding them to juices. What else? Save the roots to dry out for tea, or even slice up these fresh did I say root? The roots of dandelions and make fresh teas, or even dry them out. Save them for tea later. The beautiful flowers as well. And this pink one, I think it's going to really add more of the antioxidants from the red pigment. And it's just going to be more beautiful as these petals I can, dress up, garnish my food and my teas. And I was just talking about the anthocyanin, the black color. This is basically a very deep, probably a super deep purple. So high and rich in antioxidants. Black devil, oh my. This would be really nice to even say if I cut up some red beets, and have this on the plate with it, or like a beet salad. If you roasted some beets or do like pickling beets, really red ones, or fresh cut beets so you can really see the swirls. It's going to be really graphic with pairing up with this black, the contrast here. And then going on complete opposite, we're going to go with this tip-top pink blush nasturtiums. Nasturtiums grow really well here because they can handle full sun to even part shade. Part shade, they will bloom sparingly. Not as much blooms, and leaves would kind of scatter a little more. It gets a little more linky. But yeah, at least it's still, okay. They do all right in the part shade garden. So growing up here, I think they're going to be really beautiful, a little more compact and more blooms. They're edible, raw, and I love even cooking the leaves up. I make a soup out of this, and the leaves are so delicate, they're actually really tasty. By the way, all of these seeds are from Baker Creek, so if you guys are interested, I'll drop their link down below. It's at rareseeds.com, and they have an amazing selection of heirloom varieties, which is so cool because heirlooms means that you can save those seeds and keep growing them. And you know what? The best part about saving your own seeds is that they will acclimate to your specific place. I still got the loofah growing on here and the calendula and marigolds growing here. Aside from those, let's talk about some indoor plants and outdoor, of course, like these these dwarf varieties are going to be so much fun to grow, especially growing in the GreenStalk or any kind of vertical planters that you have, even grow bags that you can grow on, you know, just hang it on against the wall and grow it on the sunny side. Sunny side. You can try these out. Yeah, I'm gonna do the Tom Thumb. These are all dwarf varieties. This is so cute, guys. This is the lettuce, Tom Thumb lettuce. Don't they look like Brussels sprouts just because how small they are? Look at them and compare it to with the fork out here. It's so cute. And then finally, we got these two varieties of tomatoes, these cherry tomatoes. Now, cherry tomatoes is so great for container gardening. I mean, regular tomatoes are great for containers too, but a lot of them are very heavy feeders and they take up a lot of space and they require more sun. That's why I've been growing a lot of cherry tomatoes, smaller varieties, because they don't require so much sun and they're not as heavy feeders. So growing them in containers, you don't have to feed them as often as you would with larger tomatoes. And they just actually end up growing more. You have a higher yield growing one cherry tomato plant versus one large tomato. Here I got two varieties, the Micro Tom and the Orange Hat. Orange Hat is pretty good, so I'm excited to see how the Micro Tom would taste comparing the two, because this one is pretty sweet. And if you fertilize them, especially growing them under grow lights, you have to keep fertilizing them to get them the energy to keep pumping out, you know. Otherwise, you would have to do succession planting to get more like a continuous harvest. I'm excited to try these up and show you guys some updates on how everything will do. If you're interested in the GreenStalk garden, I do have a discount code for you, WENDILAND. You can type that in or just use the link down below. It would automatically apply the discount to you. This is a really great planter if you're looking to maximize your growing space, but I would say it would have its full potential if you put it somewhere with more sun. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much for chilling with me and talking about seeds and dreaming about the garden. Let me know in the comments, you guys, what you guys are growing or planning on growing the next season, if for those of you who had put your gardens to bed already. If you'd like to support this channel, go check out wendiland.com, my garden shop. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.